Students, welcome to the English class. I hope all are healthy, well, because all of you are having healthy food prepared by your mom. And today, before we start with the new chapter, let me show you certain pictures, and your task is to recognize the pictures which I'm showing you now in front of you. Write the name in English and write the medicinal importance of these items. So the first picture which you see is just in front of you. You have seen this in mom's kitchen. The pictures are really very tempting. I know few of you love to eat it raw. All these spices are used by your mother. Even you might have used while preparing different delicious dishes. You have enjoyed chewing certain of these items. So today's task is, along with the assignment, it's very interesting. Take interest in writing the names of these items and also mentioning about the medicinal importance of these items, because many of your classmates, many of your friends, they don't know because they don't love to go in the kitchen to prepare anything. They just love to eat. So let them know the medicinal importance of all these items, because many times we don't like certain things. We feel we have allergy towards it and we remove it out from the dish. When mom gets angry, you would have remembered all such events happening. So these pictures, please go through it, write the name and even the importance of this. More I get the importance, I'll mention your name in the assignment. If you have submitted the importance of this particular items, I'll mention your name while giving the next assignment, like how we do for Pictionary. So the next picture which I'm going to show, you need not mention about the medicinal importance and even the names, because in this picture I have just clubbed all these spices which we get in the kitchen. Okay, so all these spices we are well aware of, or not all of us, but few of your friends or many of your friends, classmates, they will be well aware of the medicinal importance of all these items, because they have heard it from their grandparents, they have heard it from their parents. Whenever small problems, health issues they have got, these items were consumed by them on advice of their homely doctors, that is their parents and grandparents. So such items are available at home, and there are many items, or you can say many things, which are around us. Best example, you can say just outside your house you have tulsi leaf, tulsi plant, and you know the importance of tulsi leaf, tulsi plant in your life. So in the same way, there are many plants around us and it has got medicinal value. So today we are going to start with a new chapter, that is Around a Medicinal Creeper by Purnachandra Tejasvi. Now about this particular writer, about this particular poet, they have given in a textbook. His name is K.P. Purnachandra Tejasvi. If you take the full form of K.P., Kuppali Puttappa Purnachandra Tejasvi. This writer was born on 8th September 1938 and he died on 5th April 2007. He was a prominent Indian writer and novelist in Kannada. He also worked as a photographer, publisher, painter, naturalist and environmentalist. At early stages of his writing career, Tejasvi wrote poems but later concentrated on short stories, novels and essays. Although he was the son of a Rashtra Kavi Kuvempu, he came out of his father's shadow and established his own image at an early age. After completion of his education, due to his interest in nature and farming, he moved to Mudigere and bought a coffee estate. He was a keen learner of nature and his favorite pastime was to roam around in the forest of Western Ghats. So roaming around in the forest of Western Ghats, the writer got to know about many creepers who had medicinal values, and even the people working in his estate gave lots of information, but these people were not exactly whether they were trying to hide the importance or they were really not knowing about it is not clear. So in this particular chapter, around a medicinal creeper, Purnachandra Tejasvi has brought about many stories which were true, which were false. So we will just enjoy reading the stories and we'll get to know more about this particular creeper. At the same time, even a lesson we need to learn is that there are many such plants around us which we don't know the importance of it, and we need to know the medicinal importance of those plants, preserve it and pass on to next generation. So let's see what the author says in this particular chapter around a medicinal creeper. The life goes around a medicinal creeper because there are many problems, there are many health issues, and all the solutions are there in the forest of India, because Indian forests are rich with various medicinal creepers which we are not aware. So hope this particular chapter will inspire all of us to know more and more about medicinal creepers or medicinal plants. Namaste students, hope you have your reflections in your hand and a pencil to write down the meaning. But as we go, I'll be telling you the meaning of certain words. You can find out afterwards in dictionary. So today we are going to learn about a new chapter around a medicinal creeper by K.P. Purnachandra Tejasvi. And if you see at the last page where they have given about the author, they have mentioned the name of the translator. This particular account is written in Kannada and it is translated by K.M. Srinivasa Gowda. So let's see what the author wants to convey to us, because with the help of different stories which he has heard from different people, he has tried to bring home the lesson that there are various medicinal plants around us and we are not aware, we are not even knowing the medicinal importance of those plants. So before we begin the chapter, I had sent you certain pictures. Along with that, there are few more medicinal plants available around us or in our house. Example, you can say tulsi, aloe vera, brahmi, methi, peppermint or you can say pudina, lemongrass, ginger, turmeric, elephant creeper, giloy, adamant creeper, ashwagandha and many more. Here I have mentioned about elephant creeper and adamant creeper. Why? Because the author from the starting till the end, he has not mentioned the name of any of the creepers which he has given the information, or you can say said about its medicinal importance. Because he was not sure, he has heard the stories and same stories he has presented in front of us just to make it somewhat interesting for us to know the importance of the plants around us. So I hope you have the textbook. I'll begin. Today we'll just do till page number 21. Okay. So page number 16. Chapter's name is Around a Medicinal Creeper by Purnachandra Tejasvi. This is the story of an unusual medicinal creeper. Why unusual? Because the author got to know about this plant accidentally. Okay? And it is not usually found around. That is what he is pointing. Unusual. There were so many stories about this creeper, some true, some imaginary, and some totally false. So this particular creeper he is creating an interest in the starting of the chapter with the introduction that this particular creeper is unusual, and the stories about this creeper, either they are true stories or imaginary stories or sometimes totally false stories. Now what are such stories woven around, or it is spun around this particular creeper, we'll just come to know as we proceed further. To go beyond these stories and learn some facts about this plant took me almost 20 years. Do you think the author is saying a lie? That it took almost 20 years for the author to know about this particular creeper. If we want come to know, we'll just give a Google search and we get the ample information in the Google, right? But in those days, author was not having such facility. And if you see, books were there. Even when we were going to colleges, we were not having this technology, internet. We had to go to libraries, search lots of books, make points, make notes, and then read and then study. And then make form our own answers and write the answers. Same way here, the author took almost 20 years. Now we come to know from his writing about this particular medicinal plant. Imagine, he loved to be with the nature, he loved to roam in the Western Ghats, so he came across accidentally about this particular creeper. So he says that it almost took him 20 years to know about this particular medicinal creeper. A coffee seed bed has to be protected from the sun by putting up a shade over it. Now those who have coffee plants, they know it very well. Or let's take when you were small, in your lower classes, in your geography classes, you have learned about farming, you have learned about agriculture, and each and every plant requires certain type of soil, climate, all such things are required. So coffee, he is pointing out, if you remember, I have told you in the introduction that he loved to be with the nature, and so at Mudigiri he had purchased land, and there he was actually, a estate, and there he was doing farming. So when he is telling his own experience, once when we were preparing a coffee bed, a shade on a coffee plant, what happened? Once we were erecting a bamboo frame for such a shade, and we needed something with which we could tie the cane pieces placed across the frame. Nowadays, if you want something, you go to a shop, hardware shop, and you get all those things. You get rope, you get those tools, whatever you require. But in those days, being a farmer, or if you ask your dad, if you ask your mom, the things available around you, we were using those things. So here, instead of going to the market and getting a rope to tie a frame, author and his laborers, they sent Sanna. Okay, so we sent Sanna to get some creepers from the forest. Why? Because creepers, if you see, it can be used as a rope. So they sent Sanna to the forest to get some creepers so that they can make a frame to have a shade on the coffee plant. He brought a whole bundle. Of course, if you go to forest, there are vast, it's a treasure, right? So when he came back, he brought a bundle. Mara opened the bundle, and while shifting is what? While separating, he suddenly looked at one of the creepers and scolded Sanna. Hey, why did you pluck this, you fool? Here you see Mara's reaction. By seeing Mara's reaction, all are surprised. But Sanna maybe he is surprised. Why is he behaving like this? He had a bundle of creepers, and while separating, maybe they are separating the strong ones also. While separating the creeper, he saw one creeper and he scolded Sanna, why have you brought this? Why? Even we are surprised, we are curious to know why he is scolding Sanna to bring that particular creeper. When I inquired, here author is saying, if you see here, author is using the first person. He is narrating as he is talking to you. So when I inquired, he said that it was a medicinal creeper. So here you can see suspense opens, and author gets to know that that particular creeper which Sanna has brought has medicinal values. Sanna said that there was plenty of it in the forest. Oh, what is it? I just brought only few. There are plenty over there in the forest. Mara eagerly said, come, show me where it is. So now Mara is very eager. Now let this work will be done afterwards. Let's go to the forest. Show me where is this particular creeper. And took Sanna into the forest. Out of sheer curiosity, I also went with them. Even if you would have been there, you also would have got curious to know what and where and why is he showing so much of eagerness about this particular creeper. So that is how I got to know about this medicinal creeper. When Sannappa showed the plant, Mara became very active. He caught hold of one of the tendrils and tied it to a nearby tree. As soon as he saw the creeper, he took the tip
point of it and he tied that tendril to a nearby tree. Now why is he doing this? Even you are curious, even I am curious, even the people around, or you can say not the people around, especially author was curious, why is he doing like this? So he asked, I was surprised at that and asked, Mara, why did you tie that creeper to the tree? Okay? The thief. Who is the thief over here? The thief, he said, now it will be lying here. If I tie this creeper will be over here forever. If not, then it will run away. Or why? Because road is here. Why? Where do you think it will run to? I asked him. Oh, you don't know about this creeper. It has been cursed by a sage. So the story begins here. Mara is narrating a story that this particular creeper was cursed by a sage. Now why this particular creeper was cursed by a sage, we don't know, but he is saying that. Let's see what is the curse. The curse is that when someone needs this plant, they shall not find it. You have seen now in your COVID-19 during this lockdown, you have, I know you have seen Mahabharata, you have seen Ramayana, and you have seen the Rishi Munis, you have seen the scene over there. So they will be having a vessel in their hand with some holy water. They will sprinkle the water and they will curse or they will bless, right? So here in this way he is saying that a sage has cursed this plant, that whenever anyone requires this plant, it will not be seen, it will not be found. That is why when you find it, you must immediately tie it to a nearby plant so that it will be lying there, explained Mara. So what reason is giving? This particular plant is a thief. It disappears when we want it for our life. That is the curse given by one of the sages, and then he says that, but that's why we people tie this plant so that this plant remains there forever. I hope it is clear. The next paragraph, author explains you how that particular plant appears or looks. Now you will get confused because all the creepers almost they have got beetle shape, beetle leaves shape, and almost all the creepers they bear fruit like grapes in bunches. So let's see what he's explaining about, or how he's describing about this particular plant. This creeper has small leaves resembling beetle leaves and bears fruits in a bunch like grapes. If you see all the creepers nearby, I think it's only money plant I have not seen, I don't know about it. It doesn't bear fruit, but all the other creepers, if you see, yes, the shape of the leaf is like beetle leaf, and the fruits which it bears, they come into small like grape-like bunches. Immediately after it rains, this plant comes up and flowers very quickly, puts forth. Puts forth means what? Gives. It gives flowers and fruits and buds. So that is what Mara is saying. Immediately after rain, it flowers, it fruits, and then it dies. It comes up again only in the next rainy season. So in between, no one sees this plant. Because it is not seen for most of the year, they probably tie it to a tree nearby so that it can be easily identified or located. If you see many creepers, now if you could just go out, you don't know which are the creepers. We get confused by seeing same, okay, leaves differs, size differs, color differs, but still we are not knowing about it, we are not aware of it. So if we tie, Mara says that we can easily locate or we can easily identify it. But Mara's stories are so bizarre that, meaning of bizarre is strange. Mara's stories are so strange that one does not know which is true, which is false. This is not confined only to people like Mara. The entire system of Indian medicine suffers from this kind of mystification. Mystification means what? Confusion. You might have seen your grandparents using certain plants or shoots or roots, which now if you try to recall, you don't remember. Or luckily if your grandparents, they have sowed or they have planted those plants, you may be knowing, and I hope in my assignment I get lots of information about such medicinal plants. So what is happening is, the last line is very, very important. The entire system of Indian medicine suffers from this kind of mystification. The entire Indian medicine system is a big confusion. Why a big confusion? Because the knowledge, the importance of those plants was not passed from one generation to next generation. Now what was the reason? We don't know. Maybe the people were reserved. Maybe they don't want to pass on to next generation because they want to keep the knowledge to them. They want to earn wealth from that particular knowledge. Or maybe they were scared there because each and every medicine, it has its own limitations. Maybe they were scared that, okay, if we pass on the knowledge to the next generation, they may not use it economically. They may overuse it. Or there are many things are there. The author is mentioning about such reasons why it was not passed from one generation to next generation. Okay. So in all my wanderings in the forest with Masti, Baira, Appanna, Mara and others, of course I told you he had bought an estate. He used to love to roam in the Western Ghats. So during his wanderings, he got to know a lot of things about not only particular plant, about lots of plants, medicinal plants available in the forest. I gleaned is what? I gathered, okay, many information about many things. Among them were a few things I learned about some of these plants and herbs. I have not only about the plants and herbs, I have learned many things. That is what the writer is saying. Author is saying that I have learned many things and also have learned about these plants and herbs during my wandering in the forest. Now the forests are disappearing. It's a fact. And the people who know about these things are also leaving us one by one. Now, who are these people? These people are, you can say, the local Vaidya who used to give Ayurvedic medicines. Or you can see your great-grandparents, your grandparents, those who have this knowledge about the medicinal purpose are one by one, they are leaving us and they are going us. At the same time, forest also is disappearing. Now, where is this forest going? Whether the forest has got curse, like how this plant has got? No, we are the curse, right? We are the one who is exploiting the forest. We want various things. We only know to take, we don't know to give back. So we just keep on taking, we just keep on destroying, and that's the reason why the forests are disappearing. So author is pointing out, slowly now, gradually forests are disappearing. At the same time, one by one, the people, those who have knowledge about these plants, these herbs, they also are leaving us. Leaving us in the sense they are leaving this world, right? One must realize that if one disappears, it can be either the people, those who know about the forest or the plants, or the forest. Okay. One must realize that if one disappears, the other becomes useless. Let's imagine, okay, grandparents are there, the people, those who know about the plants are there. Now that is what is the situation, that is what is the condition now. Forests are disappearing. So if one is not there, the other becomes useless. The other, in the sense, the people, those who know about the forest, those who know about the herbs and shrubs, they become useless. Or you can see forest is there and the people are not there. Right? So if one, are you getting it? If people are not there, forest becomes useless. And now you can see in many places where it has happened the same thing. We have the diseases, so we only are creating new diseases by our greed. Because of this pollution, because of this greediness, we only are creating these diseases, and now we are only suffering. And I'm sure there is a medicine. As soon as we create a disease, there is a medicine available in the nature. If we search it, we'll get it. Best example is now, if you see, we have seen many videos going viral on the WhatsApp or Facebook, that we Indians our immunity power is strong. Why? Because all these things and the pictures I have sent to you, all those things we include in our diet. And that helps our immune system to grow stronger to fight any sort of diseases. Right? So let's continue. So one must realize that if one disappears, the other becomes useless. I am very keen to share the information I have with someone. It's quite natural. Such a treasure, such a vast treasure of knowledge, when you acquire after lots of research, we want to tell to someone, we want to share with someone. But are the people around you ready to take it? It depends on that, right? Someone should be aware of these things, but whenever I try to discuss the unique properties of these plants and herbs with my doctor friends, they become annoyed, call me an ignoramus. That is what? Totally ignorant person, and squabble with me. They argue with me. So normally, who is the best thing to go and discuss with? The people, those who are in that particular field. So doctors, especially our doctors, if you say their job is to save people's life. So he tried to discuss about these particular medicinal herbs and shrubs with his doctor friends, but they called him as an ignorant person. What rubbish things you are talking? And now and then they were arguing with him. It's not possible, because if you see, we all have become bookworms. Maybe doctors have not learned about these plants and they are not ready to accept it, or maybe they have not got the practical knowledge about it. They have, no, if you want a proof of something, proof should be there, right? So maybe they are not agreeing with his you can say research work, or you can say the information which he is giving to the audience. That day, though Mara, tying up the plant, raised it to the skies, saying that every inch of it was medicinal, he did not tell me what exactly it cured. All the plants around you, its leaves, its fruits, its flowers, no, it has got some values. It has got poisonous values also, it has got medicinal values also. So he is saying that Mara was telling that inch and inch of this particular creeper is, it's very, very useful, but Mara did not tell me exactly what it cures. Whether he did not want to tell me, whether he wants to keep the knowledge to himself, don't know, or simply did not know. There are chances that the people, they were not knowing exactly whatever they have heard, whatever they have learned from their forefathers, they listen, they observe, and then they follow. Okay? I can't say. Okay? I didn't force him. Mara spun such exciting yarn. Now, spun such exciting yarns means to create interesting stories which are not true. Okay, the phrase used over here is Mara spun such exciting yarns. Spinning yarns means nothing else but creating exciting or interesting stories which are not true. That instead of tying it to the tree, even if he had tied the creeper around his own neck, people were not likely to take him seriously. Here he is cracking a joke that Mara used to create such interesting stories, but false stories, that even if he would have tried that tendrils to his own neck, instead of trying to the tree, people would have not agreed or would have not listened to his stories as the facts or the truth. But his stories were marvelous, even when they were not true. Maybe he has got this particular talent of creating stories, or maybe the stories he has heard from others. But he had the stories were marvelous even when they were not true. So it begins with one story. He is narrating one story now, which Mara told him that one day, it seems, Mara had gone to the forest to bring some bamboo shoots home. With his hands thrust through the bamboo, when he was cutting the shoot, he accidentally cut his hand. The sharp sickle had apparently cut an artery and it started bleeding profusely. If you see, you have two types of blood vessels, right? Arteries and veins. And arteries, if it gets cut, it bleeds more than, you can say it bleeds more as compared to veins. So here artery got cut and the blood was oozing out. Everyone around was alarmed and someone brought some leaf, pressed it against the wound and bandaged it with a cloth torn from one of their lungies. Of course, these people, now if you say Mara, he went to the forest to get the bamboo shoots. While cutting the bamboos, his hand got cut, the artery got cut, it was bleeding. Now, can they run to the hospital? In those days, vehicles were not allowed, not available, you can say. And forest areas, you can say it's difficult to take the vehicle inside. And you have heard in those days, bullock carts were used. So by the time he reaches the hospital, there will be loss of blood. So what happened immediately? People around Mara were knowing about the importance, or you can say knowing about the medicinal leaves. Someone brought the medicinal leaf. They actually covered it and bandaged it with lungi. Now, of course, they were using, they either wear dhoti or lungis. So they tore a cloth piece, and they tied it, and then they have just done the first aid. And then they took him to a doctor. That is what Mara is narrating this story to the author. Mara held his wounded hand carefully so that it would not shake too much and went to the white man at Pulihindalu for proper dressing and treatment. White man here represents the Britishers, or you can say the foreigners who has brought this English medicines to our country. So immediately, of course, people started having more faith in the English medicines, and they went on ignoring the Ayurvedic medicines in those days. So as soon as this accident took place, they did the first aid and they took the person to White Man. The White Man got out his first aid kit, cotton, medicines, antibiotic powder, etc., opened the bandage and removed the leaf. Surprise. Now what was the surprise? What can you imagine? Let's see what was the surprise. There was no blood, no wound, in fact, no sign of any wound having been there. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Now you will say how? Actually, I have mentioned here about elephant creeper. I have heard about this creeper. I am not assuring you that it is very, very useful. But I have heard, during this vacation, not this vacation, the previous vacation, I was roaming in the forest, Western Ghat forest in nearby Kolhapur. And luckily my uncle is a police inspector. So under his influence, we got entry in the forest, and the forest officer was narrating about certain plants over there. And as a teacher of English, when I went to this chapter, there are certain doubts in my mind. So when I was roaming with the particular forest officer, he was telling me the information, I was listening to it, but now if you ask me which is that plant and which is that, I will not remember anything, because I was not having a notebook and my mind is not like your CPU to store all those information which I got. So now I am blank. So, but I have heard, and that particular thing which he told me in my mother tongue, I searched for that plant. I am not assuring you that this is that plant. I am creating an interest in your mind to search for such plants. So he told me that the people over here, Adivasi people over here, if they get a cut or if they get a wound, they use these leaves. They just they warm those leaves, or they just heat those leaves and they plaster it on the wound. They keep it for almost say